2 weeks or 1 week, I guess.
Holy shit, Kevin!
Wow! What?
You get this only nowhere else but the Kevin and Zach. Kevin, I'm not gonna lie.
Now look at this. A carved penguin. There it is.
Oh no. Are the O's fine? Are the Orioles fine, Kevin?
I was so embarrassed.
Okay. The Orioles stole it. That game was stolen. It was stolen from them, then they stole it right back.
What?
Oh my God.
Wait, what's going on? What is happening?
What is going? Was it a diving play? He bobbled the play.
What is happening? Are they challenging it? No. Other wall. No.
Kevin, I don't know what you saw, how much you saw. I've been chugging champagne. Sure, I spilled a lot, but what a game, man.
He will be the legendary
Birdfish!
How about that?
Birdfish fans, stand up. We did it.
What can I say? What can I say? You know, while that entire intro was playing, I was thinking of a way to open up this show to encapsulate emotions, and I just there's not one. Like, the Orioles are now 12 games under 500. They get swept by the Twins. They're the joke of the MLB, the laughing stock of the MLB. And I don't know when a change is going to come. I think that's the most depressing part of it all. They lose 4-0. Another offensive embarrassment where they can't get guys in. You know, they stage what I would like to call, at least for the Orioles standards, some level of rally in the ninth by getting 2 guys on. Adley gets his first into the entire series in the ninth inning, and Tyler O'Neill strikes out looking to end the game. You know, I just, you know, and you know what, Steven, you're right. You know, I was looking over the intro and just looking back even a year ago about how much more fun we were having talking about this team. And it's not like MLB teams don't lose. It's not like MLB teams don't go through tough stretches. That happens. That's a part of the game. Baseball's hard, right? Like, baseball's a hard game. But when things aren't going right, as an organization, you have to prove to your fan base that you care. It just feels like they've punted. It just, in every day that this goes on, it feels more and more like that. Like, you see teams, and I see Jason talking about it here in the chat, asked the question on another show, if the Pirates, Rockies, and Rangers can make managerial changes this early in the season, why can't the O's? And just, you know, coaching changes and schedule. And Peyton, I mean, I agree. I mean, this goes back, it's not even 50 games, Peyton. It goes back to last season. I mean, this is the same team we saw last year, albeit a worse roster. And, you know, while I think everybody here, or at least most people here, anticipated the pitching staff being a struggle and, you know, it not being the strength of the team, and the offense might go through some tough stretches, you at least hope that they could figure some stuff out from what we saw last year. I mean, we've been talking about this post All-Star break, even low before the All-Star break on. And I don't have, you know, any record numbers of, you know, from June of last year to today, or from July of last year. I don't have that in front of me right now, but I don't think it's very good. I don't think it's very good. And some people want to bring up the argument of, well, you know, last year's last year, this year's this year. I have said multiple times on this show that I don't agree with that. Like, I think that, especially with the roster being what it is and expecting leaps from guys, and I mean, we've certainly seen Jackson, he's looked fine for them. Obviously, O'Hearn has been the carrier of this offense. Seti had the grand slam yesterday, although it didn't really mean anything because they lost the game. But you're losing games in shutout fashion when your pitching staff does okay. And again, for Tomo standards today, it wasn't a great Tomo game. But again, 4 runs in 6 1/3 innings, like, you take that from Tomo. Like, I give Tomo a lot of credit for going 6 1/3. I know his pitch count was a little elevated throughout the game after the first, but him still being able to go through 6 1/3, especially after the doubleheader yesterday, where your bullpen is a little taxed after that. Tomo was nails today in terms of a couple tough pitches, right? It was a couple tough pitches for Tomo. He definitely wasn't perfect, and by his standards, it's rough. But you know what? Tomo deserves to have a game like this. And I'm not even saying Tomo went a third and 2 innings and gave up 6 runs. Tomo, has been good this year. He's been the Orioles' best pitcher this year, in my opinion, right? I know people will point to Eflin, but he missed time. Tomo's been available. I think it's pretty far and away Tomo. Tomo gave you 4 runs. And with this offense, I guess with this version of it, you don't expect it. But, I ask this question all the time. The Orioles have talent on the offensive side of the ball. They do. But is this just who they are? And with each game that passes, it is more and more apparent that the answer to that question is yes. And the underlying issue, or I guess now it is in plain sight for everybody to see, is that they're not doing anything about it. They're not doing anything about it, right? It shows me that, I said it a couple minutes ago, it feels like they're punting. And I get the whole notion of you want to wait a little bit. Yes, don't fire guys 2 weeks into the season, right? That's a bit, in fact, a lot premature. We are about a fourth of the way through the season right now. And as was noted earlier, teams are making changes. Teams that had lower expectations than the Orioles did. And I understand the concept of not making rash decisions, right? Letting things play out, figuring out who you really are. And this isn't even me calling, okay, the Orioles need to fire Brandon Hyde. If you've been listening to Zach and I, and in my opinion on this situation, I have been of the mindset that Hyde should have been gone last year. So, you don't have to tell me twice. But your locker room clearly is dejected. Your players are dejected. And look, the players deserve blame in this whole situation too, right? It's not just on the coach, not just on the GM, not just on the players. Everybody plays a role in this. Now, again, the conversation of who deserves what percentage of that blame pie, if you want to call it that, that's a different conversation. But everybody's looking at it. There's a national piece on the Orioles at least once a week at this point, or a national, segment on TV, MLB Network, or another big network. Everybody sees it. Everybody sees it. And right now, the Orioles are 42 games? Did I do that right? Yeah, 42 games into the season. They're a third of the way almost done with, a fourth of the way done this season, right? It's not just a matter of, this is a 2-week trend. Maybe they'll figure it out. You have to. No, this is a large enough sample size for me to say this is who they are, right? They can certainly turn things around, but man, in order to do so, they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to send some sort of a message, because right now, everybody's just going through the motions. It feels like everybody there is content, and it might not be that way. I'm sure the players are most definitely, you can tell Gunner's pissed, man. Gunner's pissed. And these players, they're not content with what's going on here. They want to play better. They want to win, but it just feels like the messaging in the locker room has gotten stale. Whenever the pitching staff does well, the offense can't buy anything. Whenever the offense does well, the pitching can't buy anything. It feels very rare that we get an Orioles complete game. I'm not saying it doesn't happen and it hasn't happened. It has. We can go back and look at some of those games. But it's also about, it's not just how they're losing. It's the way that they're losing. It is the way that they are losing. All right. Teams lose games. Teams lose games. You're not going to win 162 games in a season. But it just felt like from the last pitch of last season against Kansas City in the wild card to where we are today, there were outcomes where it would have been really great for the Orioles and things could have worked out, especially if the offseason went differently. But it didn't. And it seemed like everybody could tell, hey, it's going to be a little bit of a rough go with this pitching staff this season, especially if guys can't stay healthy. The best version of this Orioles pitching staff with everybody healthy was still going to be a bit of a question mark. In fact, not even a bit, a big question mark for them. Then you lose Grayson before the season starts. Eflin goes down for a while. All of a sudden, guys were thrust in the roles that they had no idea they'd be performing in, let alone that early in the season. And so now you just put guys in bad spots. And again, that's not an excuse for guys like Charlie Morton. And Charlie will be the first to tell you he needs to pitch better. And, his season has been disappointing. Like Charlie takes accountability, right? But accountability only goes so far because that doesn't lead to wins. So, there's a lot that goes into baseball, and that's why I'm never going to blame anything 100% on one facet or one person. Right. And this, honestly, I see CR James talking about Kyle Stowers, who is tearing it up for the Marlins. Norby there as well doing his thing. Trevor Rogers, who can't even sniff this roster. It just feels like a lot of bad decisions went into this by the front office. And, the coaching staff is too married to what they believe in instead of, just playing it natural. And the players just can't get out of their own heads. It is everything. It is everything about this organization that has played a part in this. And so you kind of look at how the game went today and, Gunnar, he's been recovering, right? He's been playing well. He goes 0 for 4. Obviously O'Hearn does his thing, but, then you can't get production. Mountie hits a double off the wall and he gets thrown out trying to stretch it into a triple. It's things like that. Adley goes 1 for 3. But, that hit comes in the 9th inning and, not in, it didn't amount to anything because Tyler O'Neill ended up striking out after that. That hit that O'Hearn had, by the way, just bounced up like 55 million feet in the air. O'Hearn's not the fastest guy on that roster, but, he certainly legged that thing out. So, I mean, look, these guys, the players are trying, but trying, it's not equaling wins. It's just some of the bullpen management, the other decisions, like, the Twins, like, are getting injured left and right in this series. And obviously prayers go out to Byron Buxton and Carlos Correa, that collision out there in the shallow part of the outfield. Both those guys had to leave the game. But you kind of look at how this game went for Baltimore, and the Orioles go 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. 0 for 6. They left 6 guys on base. O'Neill goes 0 for 2. Mullins 0 for 1. Rivera, and it's rare for Rivera, but he went 0 for 2. It feels like Rivera is one of the most consistent hitters on this team since he's come up. And then Holiday goes 0 for 1, double plays, which are costing this team. It's just like it's if they don't get into a rhythm. I mean, I miss 2023. I miss 2023 when, this team was playing loose, playing free, felt like no lead was insurmountable. Feels like now, the Twins go up 3-0 in this game. They have the 3-run third inning, and you feel like, all right, game's over, pack it up. We'll see you against the Nationals. Like, it feels so deflating. It's so defeating. And it's because we care, right? We care about this team and we care about them doing well, and we want to see these guys. I'd love nothing more for this team to turn it around and make a run and get out of this funk and be contenders again. But they're just not showing us anything to help us believe that. They're not showing anything to tell us that, hey, we're taking the next steps and the next strides. I mean, the messaging feels very stale, feels very robot-y. That's a word. If it's not, it is now. And, it's stuff here on Kevin and Zachary Ack. We show up for you every win or loss, right? We talk about this team. But when the offense isn't producing, when it's the same problems that have been popping up for almost a full calendar year at this point, albeit with a full offseason ahead of you, or I guess behind you, it doesn't feel good to watch this team. It feels like you kind of know what's coming. This is a team that's 12 games. I cannot believe they are 12 games. I mean, I guess I can, but I can't believe they're 12 games under 500. It feels not impossible because, again, it felt like the pitching staff was going to be an adventure this season. But even with Cowser going down and Westberg going down, I mean, they have too much raw talent to be this bad offensively, to not be able to hit situationally as consistently as they are. So it's just, it's a tough thing to stomach right now. And it's just, you look at the teams who are worse than the Orioles right now. It is 3 teams. Or I guess technically the Pirates have more losses. I guess if you want to talk about win column, there are 3 teams that have less wins than the Baltimore Orioles do right now. It's the Chicago White Sox at 14 wins. It is the Colorado Rockies at 7. You are being put as a contender before the season for the AL. Is a team that everybody was talking about as, hey, this team could turn it around from their disappointing end last season. From a team that was supposed to be in those conversations, you are now in conversations with the 7-36 Colorado Rockies and the 4-30 Chicago White Sox. That is how far this team has fallen. And I don't know what it would take, if we're being honest, for the Orioles to make a change. I thought it would be the Reds game. Then I thought it would be the other Yankees game. That I don't know. Then I thought it would be the sweep, I thought they would have done something after the first Twins sweep. I don't know what it would take. It feels like the Orioles are committed to seeing this through. And by the time, if they make a move, let's say they decide to make it in June, I mean, by that point, it's going to be too late, because now you being 12 games under 500, series wins are becoming almost irrelevant at this point. Almost irrelevant. Because you being 12 games under 500 in what was supposed to be your easiest month of the season, right? We are more than halfway through this month, or I guess right around the halfway point, with it being May 15th here today. You're in a bad spot because, you started this game 9 games under 500. If you were to win the series, you would have been 8 games under. You only get 1 game better in the win-loss column when you win a series. It feels good to win a series, but we're becoming, I guess, so used to that, 1, not happening. And 2, if you get swept like you did here, you've now lost 3 more games in the standings. And if other teams are winning, you're losing even more, right? It's not even like you're staying even. If the Yankees win, you're losing ground, right? Series wins, it's terrible. And I said it last night, I said it today. It feels like they're punting the season. It wasn't their intention at the start of it. They really believed in what they brought to the table. But I just think they're using the injuries is something. They're now using youth, like Gunnar being 23. Gunner's an all-star. Gunner's one of the best players in this league. I don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. Gunner's a professional who has been up for multiple seasons now. You can use that with Jackson, and the Orioles still are, because it took him forever to play him against lefties. I don't want to hear that Gunner's young, right? Gunnar now has the expectations because of who we know he is, and that's why it's frustrating, because we know who a guy like Gunnar is. We know the talent that these guys have, at least when they're at their best. And so for Adley, for example, who's been struggling for the past year, it's all the more disappointing and devastating and deflating and whatever word you want to use, because we know who these guys are. But the expectations for them come with them being up and having the experience and showing who they are. So I don't want to hear anything about youth for Gunnar Henderson. I thought that was honestly a pretty tone-deaf comment, if we're being honest. So, and that just feels like that's what the Orioles have been. We kind of, Zach and I had our fun about the Luis F. Castillo thing. That, I think, was also a tone-deaf move. And as we had kind of said, it wasn't the most tone-deaf thing that happened. I thought it was, but everybody talked about it, how it wasn't even the most tone-deaf thing they've done this season, let alone that week. So this team right now, just everybody sees it. Everybody sees it. And, the Twins have talent on their roster. Their bullpen is awesome, featuring Danny Coulomb, by the way, which what a great move that was. Not like anyone could see this coming. But it feels like that's the other part of it too, where it's like, who could have seen this coming? Man, look, 12 games under 500 in the middle of May. Even if I thought this was going to be a not as good of a roster type year for the Orioles, I don't even know if I could have told you that, like just being completely honest with you. So, I mean, at this point, and, Chuck mentioning it, when do we start talking about trading commodities? I think you have to have a serious conversation about it right now. I'm not talking about trading guys right now. Like, I'm not saying tomorrow trade the whole team away, but you're going to have to at least have serious conversations, because if you can't get into the same situation you did with Tony last year, in my opinion. If you're not going to re-sign him, don't re-sign him. Like, trade him away. And obviously, maybe at the time last season, because the Orioles were still in contention, and it's a different situation, because obviously Tony was an important part of your team, heart and soul of your locker room, etc. But I mean, you replace him with a guy in Tyler O'Neill who has been disappointing this year. And look, it's not like Tony's been mashing anyway. Tony starts slow, obviously. We know that about Tony, watching him in Baltimore. But it's just, this is what comes with expectations. Because you know what? The Rockies are awful. The Pirates aren't playing good right now. They fired their manager. The White Sox, Marlins, and even the Marlins are fun to watch for Marlins fans right now. At least I'm not a Marlins fan, but I would think, why? Because they have a lot of young talent that they're excited about. They're excited about Kyle Stowers. They're excited about Connor Norby. That was the Orioles a few years ago, where we were waiting every single day. We were going through those 100-loss seasons to say, hey, one day these guys are going to be the staples of this team, in contention every single season. And that's what we're building up for. It just doesn't feel like that. It felt like that in 2023. For the first half of 2024, it felt like that too. And then just bad decisions all across the board, from the front office to the coaching staff, players not playing well. Everybody deserves blame. It is a top-down failure, the way this season has gone so far for the Orioles. And just get a spark in. Get a spark in some way. Move on from someone. DFA someone. Promote someone. Like, do something to show people that you care, because the messaging right now, the product on the field, it just proves to a lot of people that feels like they're punting the season, which is just unacceptable for a team with those level of expectations, in my opinion. We're going to do call-ins here. It's going to be a bit of quicker call-ins today, because I have to be on the road soon, and Zach is going to be on the road. So, this is the reason why we're doing this now. And, Zach is currently, Ryan and Zach, I think, are still on Ryan Ripken's show currently. So we're going to do call-ins here. Again, I have to probably be out of here by around 4:15, 4:20 to get ready. So, again, if you want to call in here, you can become a member. I'm going to put, why is it? It's very nice that YouTube is showing me what it looks like to be a member on the channel, but I would like to put the link into the membership tab if I can here. I don't know why it's not letting me do that. So please hold while we figure out these technical difficulties. All right, so while I'm doing that, how about on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your panic level for the Orioles? I feel like my answer right now is it's a 10. I think for a lot of people it'll be up there. And look, I don't blame anybody. Here's why. Okay. See, I just need to be the technology master at all times here. This is what I'm here for. It's what I'm here for. So, all right, call link is live. Put your panic meter levels in the chat. A lot of 10s. The lowest we have so far is a 9.3. Oh, never mind. Jabbo changed it to 100, so now it is 9.5 is the lowest panic level meter for everybody. So, I just want to have fun again. I just want to have fun again. All right, let's get to the call-ins here. We got AJ first up. Let's bring him on. AJ, this is a tough scene. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't even know what to say anymore.
When was the last time I fucking phoned it? Sorry. When was the last time I phoned in for a win?
It wasn't last time. I remember that.
No. We were talking about it last time. When was?
I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you.
Because I didn't catch any of the Angels wins. This team it's bad. Like you can call them disappointing, you can call them this, you can call them that. They are bad right now. We are
playing awful baseball. Yeah.
With the White Sox and the Rockies. The White Sox had the worst season in MLB history last year, and the Rockies are having a worse season than that.
And you want to go a step further in that conversation. You know, you look at run differential. The Orioles are the second worst team in the MLB run differential wise at -74. The Rockies are at -137, and you're in conversations right now with the Rockies. Like, it's just that's how bad the Rockies are, first of all. But
can we just have a moment of silence for the Rockies? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's been a tough scene over here with the expectations for the Orioles, but man, that Rockies team is horrible.
Yeah, but that's you just said it right there. It's the Rockies. I mean, you cannot expect a team to be as bad as the Rockies are. No one was like, yeah, Rockies this year, they're looking good.
Exactly.
Nobody came in. People came in and we were all like, yeah, this rotation is going to be rough. It's going to be a tough season. But we've had playoff teams with bad rotations.
I mean, the 100-loss seasons felt better than this.
I tell you when I felt so vindicated when Kevin Brown started talking about how the Orioles just keep fouling off balls in the middle of the plate.
It feels like it's right there for him. Like,
you can tell Kevin is this close to breaking. He gets more and more exasperated with every single game. And I'm waiting. I cannot remember what game it was last season. It might have been a game against the Rockies where Kevin and Jim got drunk in the booth. And please tell me anyone knows the game I'm talking about. They talked about opening up a bottle of bourbon, and they were just giggly shits the rest of the game. But
I think the most fun those guys have had in the past month has been talking about the ball person fiasco yesterday.
Hilarious.
Like,
and he'd still be one of our best players. Like,
sign him up.
It was the fact that the Twins scored after that, and I was like, see, you score after an error, Orioles.
Oh.
That's what, just this whole we didn't we season sweep the Twins last year?
That sounds right. I don't know for certain, but it sounds right.
Because I know we did, because I know Cedric Mullins walked him off for the sweep in the beginning of the season, and then the Twins had given up, and we had clinched by the time we played them at the end of the season. Right?
Yes, I'm pretty sure you're right. Yeah, they sweeped them in April, and then gotta scroll. Yeah, then they sweeped them in September. Yep, 6-0.
Just it's just so bad right now. I don't really have anything insightful to say, so
yeah,
I won't
at this point we're just going off vibes, and the vibes are bad.
How is everybody not fired? Like, it gets to a point where I'm almost giving up on this season. Like, almost. I'm still watching the games for some reason. It's 6 a.m. right now.
Oh man.
It's 6 a.m. I've had a few drinks, but we're well past the angry drunk AJ we had in Kansas City, because there was some hope for that fucking team.
Yeah, we'll pour one out for that version of you.
But how is everybody not fired?
Yeah,
how? Because it's not about this season. It's about you are genuinely, with this hitting coach, with this approach, going to mess up your future. Adley Rutschman needs to get fixed now. Jackson Holiday needs to be able to stay hot. Sam Basayo, Kobe Mayo cannot be coming up into situations where they're the only ones that are going to be hitting. Like,
yeah,
You have to save the future, or we are going to be the Rockies. We are going to be the White Sox.
We might have to go 4 hours to talk about more than that to talk about every single thing that this team has.
I've already taken up too much time.
Going wrong. Oh no, you're good, man. I appreciate you calling in. I hope you know what next win you have to call in just to say that we can put a date on it when you call in after a win.
Has to like ping me on the Discord during a win. I don't care if they spoil it because like usually during the wins I'm asleep. So just ping me so I can get on a call.
They know when you're sleeping. They know when they know it.
And I'm here. But
yeah, man. Awesome, AJ. Well, appreciate you calling in, man. We'll talk soon, all right?
Talk soon.
Awesome. All right. Oh, let's keep this thing rolling. We got a lot of call-ins to get to. I see Mikey in the back here. We're going in order. So Mikey.
What's going on, Kevin?
A lot
Don't
of
answer that question.
Yeah. Sheesh.
Oh boy, I don't know. Like, I'm a broken record. I'm not going to say anything that's fresh or new or something you're not reading on the internet, right? But just the thing that just gets me is just the zero accountability. Do you know what happens when I'm half as bad at my job as these guys are? I get put on a performance improvement plan, and if I don't fix that shit in a month, I'm out. Like, what's going on? And I get paid a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of what these guys are making. I just don't get it. Like, where's the accountability?
Yeah, it feels, and I've said it, it's like the messaging feels stale, and for a team with the expectations, and you know, AJ was talking about, you know, how hasn't everyone been fired, and it's a good point, and even if you want to take that, you know, Tony here in the chat saying how has nobody had any level of, you know, move happen to them, whether it's Brandon Hyde, a hitting coach, a guy getting DFA'd, it's just the messaging has been, yeah, we're content with writing things out. Hopefully it turns around, but if it doesn't, well, we'll just get that pick and we'll move on to 2026. We learn from our mistakes. To me, the expectations started in 2023, like the full ones. Corbin comes in, you make that trade, your expectations become higher, and then you have a bad year like this, and there's still time. Like if they had made a move 2 weeks ago, and I know that for some people that they might be saying, oh, that's a little too early. But I mean, the worst case is it becomes too late and then the season is over. And, you know, it's just, you know, I talked about the youth comment about Gunnar, and I'm just like, what are we doing? Like, what is that comment? Gunnar is an all-star. We don't have to hear about how young he is, right? Like, I don't know.
No, you're completely right, and I'm gonna kind of tease out what you said there. Just like, is the season over? Like, maybe like if I were fly on the wall, I'd be hearing conversations about maybe they really do think the season is over, and they are just, I don't know. I'm getting into hypotheticals, right? It's kind of nonsense, but like maybe they do feel it's over. Maybe they know they're not going to get what they wanted out of this season, and they're priming themselves to make big calls. But the last thing I'll say, I know you have a lot of call-ins, and then I'll get your ear, but. It's just I've been a fan of this team my whole life, and they've sucked my whole life, and I've kind of made like peace with that. But now that like I've seen like a glimmer of success, fans just deserve at least transparency. Like I hate to rag on people. I'm sympathetic to the fact that they're human beings, the families and jobs. So like Michael Elias coming out and just like spewing these like really generic PR responses, that's just not good enough. Like. I don't think he needs to be put on like the fire and like be called the worst person ever and like be brought through the streets. Sure. Like he's still a guy. He's still a human being. But at the same time, we just deserve more than, oh, like we know it's bad. Okay, well, what are you going to do about it? It's one thing to admit, but it's another thing to prove real, tangible solutions. And I'm just not seeing that.
Yeah, you know, if they had made any sort of move, you know, it just feels like they are content, and that's the biggest problem that a lot of people see here, because again, like teams go through tough years. Like contending teams have down seasons. Injuries can play a part in that. And I'm not saying they haven't, but it just feels like, oh, hey, it's gonna turn around. And look, you need some level of belief, right? Like I appreciate teams having belief in themselves, but it gets to a point where you just see the same thing. I mean, what's the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And while we are still quote unquote early for an MLB season, we've already seen 3 teams make changes because it's just not good enough. And for the Orioles, it is just not good enough here. So Mikey, appreciate you calling in. Anything else on the way out?
Oh, go King Henry. Let's go.
Hey, football season, man, is almost back. We got that schedule. Mikey, appreciate you as always, man. Awesome. Let's keep it rolling. Next up, we got Wally. Wally, how you doing, my man?
Look, I'm not going to keep you, Kev. There's not much more to say. I mean, it's the last couple of days, I work from home, and I was excited. I'm like, man, we got day baseball, and both days were just pure. It was awful. It's not even fun to watch at this point. This team was fun to watch. They were gritty. Like, you just felt like they were in every game. And now I feel like it's back to 2019 and 2020. I expect to lose, and that's a bad feeling. And I just think there has to be some kind of shakeup. That you can't tell me the hitting coach at least has to go. I mean, it's becoming a joke. Like you said, we're a laughing stock. I mean, it's becoming a joke. Something has to happen.
Yeah, and again, to your point, if they had made a smaller shakeup, like a smaller move, a DFA, or a guy gets put in a different role, that would show the fan base something, and maybe it sparks something, maybe it helps. But as this gets further and further, and as you dig this hole deeper and deeper, the shakeup that has to happen becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and all of a sudden it becomes, well, not only does Brandon Hyde need to go, or does whoever need to go, Elias, whatever that conversation becomes, and I don't know what that looks like, but are you now trading away your team and either trying not a soft rebuild, but are you trying to get the most you can for vets who are clearly, are they going to re-sign all of O'Hearn, Seti, Eflin, Sagana? Some guys are going to leave. So if the season's a wash anyway, they have to try to get some value. But the problem is they have had opportunities to correct it, at least in a smaller version, to try out certain things. And it just feels like we're still having the same conversation every day.
Yeah, it's at this point, Kevin, it's Groundhog Day. I mean, we've had these same conversations. The whole group has. There's not much more we can say. It is just utter disappointment and failure. That's all we can say. And as diehard fans, we just have to hope at some point. Again, honestly, I pretty much turned to 2026. I don't see. I just can't see this team making some kind of miraculous turnaround, especially if the worst news comes back on Westberg. I just don't see it. I hope I'm wrong. I pray I'm wrong. But my biggest hope is get healthy, get Bradish back, get Grayson back, have a lot better pitching staff going into the next year, and we can just hope we can go on a great run. That's all we can do.
It's brutal to even have that conversation right now, Wally. But I mean, it's where you have to look. You fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, or now 27 times, shame on us. It's just expecting something different from the squad. It gets less and less hopeful by the day. So it's an unfortunate situation. But I appreciate you, Wally. Anything else you got for me before you head out of here?
No, that's just it. Just that, again, this isn't new, Kevin. This has been going on since June of last year. The same hitting issue. We can't score runs. It's shown in the playoffs the last 2 years, and it's a problem that it just can't get fixed. And like you said, definition of insanity, you keep doing the same thing over and over. It's not working. Something has to change, and we'll leave with that. And, hey, we can hope it only goes up from here.
Yeah, that means all you can do at this point is hope. So appreciate you checking in, Wally. We'll talk soon, all right?
See you, bud.
Awesome. All right, let's keep it rolling. Steve is up next. Let's bring him on. Steve, I can see the pain in your face, man. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'll be honest, I was so glad I was at work yesterday for that doubleheader, because I would have crashed out. Hyde's got to go. I think Ashley's got to go. And the thing is, who's the one guy on the Orioles coaching staff right now that knows a lot of these young players on the Orioles team? Buck Britton. Especially since he had a lot of them in Norfolk. Trust me, I know. I've seen my fair share of Tides games.
Yeah.
And now you have a Nationals team coming in this weekend. Young, spunky, just like the Orioles were in 23 and half of 24. And they're trying to do what we did the last year and a half.
It's a harsh. I mean, it's a harsh thing to watch these up and coming teams and realizing that, hey, we went through all these losing seasons. The Orioles went through all these years of building up their farm system, getting guys reps, getting them acclimated to the MLB level. You have the year in 2023 winning 101, winning the East, and then obviously it's disappointing losing the way they did that year, but it's a young team. It's not an excuse, but it's true. You come back here in 2024, you have a great, for the most part, first half of the season. You just fall off a cliff in the second half. You get embarrassed in the playoffs in the wild card round. They have not won a playoff game, which is disappointing in its own right. And then you lose Corbin. There's not a replacement plan. I mean, it's all stuff, Steve, but at the end of the day, the expectations for this team, we were supposed to be with the pitching staff. Who knows if everything had gone right for the offense, but you were supposed to be in conversations with the Yankees and, the Tigers where they are now and the Twins getting hot and these other teams. And you are in conversations with the Chicago White Sox and the Colorado Rockies. And it's just unbelievable we've gotten at this point. So
it's absolutely embarrassing right now. Last year, you're in talks with the Tigers, the Royals, the Yankees, hell, the Phillies, the Braves, the Dodgers as a playoff team. Now you're in conversations with Pittsburgh and Colorado as one of the worst teams in baseball.
It's just it feels unbelievable, but at the same time, I mean, they in order for them to, I think, have had a successful early season, they had to stay almost completely healthy. And while I'm not using injuries as the excuse because guys just aren't playing well, coaches aren't making good decisions, the front office obviously did what they did this offseason. We knew that coming into this year, with Grayson, Eflin, Sagano, Morton, and Kramer, that would have to be the five, and they would have to stay healthy for the Orioles to even have a shot for that rotation to help. And while Sagano has been awesome this year, Kramer has had his games, obviously. The fact that Eflin went down for a while, Povich has had great games and bad games. Grayson, I don't even know what's going on there. Like, who knows with him? It just, again, it feels like a punt year for them, which it's just you're tempting fate with that. You're tempting the baseball gods because, as we've seen, windows shut in an instant. And, we can talk about how much good and young talent the Orioles have. Doesn't mean anything if you can't win games with it. And then you have to make a decision or multiple decisions. So we'll see how that goes.
Before I get off here, what's the I know Povich is starting tomorrow night against the Nationals. Is it Kramer and Eflin?
It is Povich, Gibson, and Eflin are the three that are listed right now.
Okay. You gotta take 2 out of 3, especially since Washington's only starting the lefty tomorrow night.
Right, 2 righties on the mound in the final 2 games. So
exactly.
Steve, I appreciate you calling in. Hopefully, we'll be talking under better circumstances next time.
The thing about it is, I'm working 6 days straight. I won't be able to call in because I'm not getting off till like 8:30 at night. So all I'm saying is, gotta take 2 of 3 from the Nats. Gotta
do it. Awesome. All right, Steve, we'll appreciate you. We'll talk soon. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's keep it rolling along here. We got Mr. Arkansas Joe. Let's bring him on. Joe, give me some good Hogs news, man. I need it.
Oh, buddy, we got Tennessee coming in tonight. Big series to end the year. Big series.
So when does the what are they ranked? What are they still? What were they, 2?
It depends what poll you look at.
Okay.
But top 5 in most polls.
All right.
With 2 losses to LSU last weekend. Tennessee's a good competitive team. We always play them well. So, and they're having a down season, but it's the SEC, and it's going to be crazy. We got 1 weekend left, then it's SEC tournament, and in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's regionals. So
You know,
we got
I didn't realize that you know, because I'm a Nuggets fan, and the Thunder have a couple of Hogs on their roster. I didn't even realize that Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams are both former Hog guys. I guess we have a little rivalry going for for Nuggets Thunder if you're a Hog truther, and I know you are. So
yeah. I'm not a big basketball guy, but I started following it a little bit this year when Coach Cal came in. But,
yeah, that was exciting for them too. I mean,
and apparently Boogie Flan's going back to school and not going to the NBA, so that should be super interesting.
Yeah.
The softball regionals start on Friday.
Very
Razorbacks
nice.
are the number 4 seed in the country, so if they win their regional, they'll get a super regional next weekend. The number 1 player in softball is Miss Bree Ellis, who just knocks the snot out of a softball. Player of the year, SEC. So it should be interesting. I hope they don't break my heart again. It happens every year. It's the that time of year. First team to 40 wins. Only team to have 40 wins 8 straight years, minus the COVID year, which I mean you can't really count that. So let's get DVH that hardware. Let's get Van Horn his hardware this year.
Man, let's do it, Joe. Appreciate you. Are the Orioles going to win again? Are they going to win a game again?
Yeah, I have confidence they're going to win. They need a change of some sort.
Yeah,
the fundamentals are drastically lacking on this team, and you know, it's disappointing, to say the least. They're better than this, and at some point, they're going to look in the mirror and say, "We're better than this," and quit swinging at the low and inside pitch. Quit letting the first pitch meatball down the middle. I mean, the other guys aren't doing that. When our pitchers throw meatballs, they're hitting them out the yard.
They're taking advantage.
We got to get it done. It's not too late, but it's certainly not early still. So, I mean, it's like a horse race, man. When you come around the quarter pole, horse could be in 4th or 5th and still finish first. So
yeah, they got a deep hole to dig out of, though. So, you know, all you can do is hope at this point. But awesome, Joe. Appreciate you. Anything else before you head out of here?
They were calling your ass out to do a workout with Q today. So I think Ryan is sending you to missile training for reporting.
Man, all right, I'm gonna have to go back and look. I'm gonna have to go back and look.
They already sent. They already put in the file.
After his comments when I was on the show, which I've not forgotten about. I'm gonna have to do a couple workout challenges with Q, see if I can get one up on him. So
yeah, they were sending you to missile training today.
All right. Well, no, I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever gets thrown at me. Joe, appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon. All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Joe. Appreciate you as always, my man. All right, let's get the last call in of the day here. It is Laura. Oh, Wingstop for Five Guys? Is that the question of the day?
Because this team has got me eating my feelings.
I actually had Wingstop last night, believe it or not. So and plus I can't eat Five Guys because of the whole peanut allergy thing. So
okay.
Wingstop is my choice. Although I do understand Five Guys might be the more popular option. I've just never had it before, so I can't tell you.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, I mean that's really it. That's all I had. Thanks. No, I'm just kidding. The other thing I did have is, it's like you said, we are 42 games into the season. That's 25% of the season. Even if we were to go 500 from here on out, that's only 75 wins for the season.
Yeah.
That gets us nowhere.
Top pick in the draft. That's where it gets you.
And somehow or other we'd lose that to the Rockies, I'm sure.
Oh man.
I mean, again, like I told Zach last night, broken record, same things over and over and over. And like I said, when you're at this point and you've lost 3 in a row, you've lost a series. I mean, hell, Bud Black is gone. Derek Shelton is gone.
Rangers hitting coordinator.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, at this point, when you're looking at the standings, who is really the next manager to go? It's between us and the Marlins, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, I think the Orioles are by far and away that next step, that next domino. I mean, you'd think.
Yeah, you would think. I just, I'm still going to watch the team, but I'm done. I'm not expecting anything anymore. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
The shirt is firmly ensconced in the drawer. I checked on it this morning. It's just sitting there.
All right. Yeah.
At such time, it may come back out, but at this point, the O's are not fine. They're not fine-ish. They're not, no. This season's done as far as I'm concerned. It really is. Because like I said, even if we go 500, that's still only 75 wins. And is this a team that could do more than 500? On paper.
Sure.
But in reality from what we've seen, we're not even 500 now. So no.
And Laura, I agree. It feels like, a lot of the fan base, I kind of fall in this category as well of just people are numb to it at this point. Look at this. It's the disappointment here. Chuck T says subsided to more of a callous at this point. Like, going into a game you're going to watch, you're going to root for them. But once those first 2 runs cross with the opponent, you're just like, well,
yeah,
all right.
That's that, because there's no hope of a comeback. We're not the comeback kids anymore like we used to be either. So it's just really disappointing. It's just really disappointing.
Yeah, it is. It's tough. And now you got a Nationals team coming to town. You got to take advantage. We've been saying that all season, and they generally have not been able to do so. So we'll see what happens. Laura, appreciate you as always. Anything else before you get out of here?
My birthday is on Sunday.
Oh, well, happy early birthday. We'll be sure to celebrate. Hopefully the Orioles can win for you. Oh, it's your birthday. They have to win for your birthday.
I know. This was the weekend I was supposed to be in Baltimore. Not going to Baltimore, going to Nashville instead. I'm going to a concert on Sunday night for my birthday.
Right.
So.
Well, that should be a fun time. That should be a fun time. So happy early birthday.
I may not see you guys on Sunday after the game, but I will definitely see you next week sometime.
Absolutely. Well, whenever we see you after your birthday, I'll be sure to wish you a happy birthday. So
appreciate
you, Laura.
Thanks, Kevin.
Soon, all right.
Bye.
All right. Disappointing. It is what it is. So Orioles get swept by the Twins. They're 12 games under 500. No changes have happened yet. Maybe they'll happen soon, but who knows? I'm not really expecting much at this point. But that's all I have for you here today on Kevin and Zach Reacts. We're a post-game Orioles destination. Win or lose, we're going to be here. Every loss, every win. We want to be able to be a place where people can vent their emotions, good or bad. And, of course, it's been a lot of bad emotions here, but we're here for you to vent them out. So appreciate everybody for being here today. We'll be back here, obviously, start of the National Series, breaking all that down, hopefully an Orioles win. So be sure you hit the like and subscribe button in video form. Follow along. Well, we don't really have audio form, so be sure to like and subscribe in video form here on YouTube. And we'll see you right back here soon on Kevin and Zach React. Who's my Oro going to be today? Oh, well, Zach. All right, whoever this is. I have to go, whoever this is. So you can either take over the show. I'm going to end it right here in about 10 seconds. So you have 10 seconds, whoever this is, to talk.
Well, I was going to see if Zach wanted to come on real quickly because we just finished.
Okay, well, if he does, I'll keep it running, but I have to leave. I have to be out of town like 4 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, it's actually what he said. Actually, I'll let Zach come to the bathroom. I think you can leave and I can stay on.
Okay, if you want to take the reins, I'll let you take the reins. Man,
I think Zach just wants to say a little piece.
Okay,
and I'll get out of the way.
If you want to take the reins, man, go for it. I'm with you. How was the show?
It was good. Clint was awesome, man. And talk about a team that sucks. The Rockies suck.
Yeah, we talked about it. The Orioles are second in the league in run differential at -74. Rockies are a crisp -137. So
makes you feel good.
Yeah, been a tough stretch.
Obviously, the expectations were a little bit different for the two teams.
Oh yeah.
To stay on. You know what, Kev? Yeah, get going. Also, Q says he's going to put you through.
I know. Joe told me you guys were talking about me doing a workout or something.
I think when we get Q on more regularly for going into football too, it's going to be phenomenal when Q puts you through it.
Man.
It's going to be great.
All right,
Can't wait.
I'll
Kevin is getting off, but I said you wanted to possibly say something.
Does he want to pop on?
Yeah. Do you want to pop on my laptop or do you want to pop on that?
You two can do it together if you want. If he wants to.
Well, Kevin, I still have to drive too, so it's not a long message. This is just, Kevin, I'm tired of getting swept. I'm tired of not producing runs. I'm tired of not hitting with runners in scoring position. It feels like every day we sit here and talk about the same things over and over. One pitcher, Tomo, it wasn't a bad start. Wasn't a bad start, especially compared to the rest of the, how the team's playing. This was a bad one. This was it was just a brutal 2 days. Whenever you lose 3 games in 2 days, it's not fun. I don't think any baseball player is going to tell you that's fun.
Mm-mm.
You know, it's funny. I told Zach right when the show was ending, I'm like, any thoughts you want to get off your chest? He goes, no, it's the same thing. It's fine.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just now we're just talking about it.
Zach, you want any words? Yeah, right in there.
I had a moment to my level-headedness as soon as I get on Kevin and Zach react.
It brings out the demons in you.
Every time.
Do you feel better now? Feeling great. About to go win some putt.
Oh wow. Did you get some footage of that?
Yeah, sure, Kevin. I'll watch you. Allow you to watch me win.
Well, now you got to back it up. So,
hey Kev, I will release for our channel members on the Ryan Ripken show that you outscored Zach.
That was crazy.
And it didn't count down that other one where it wasn't counting my shots, by the way.
I still won that one.
That one you won, Kevin. You should have stopped right there. You won the majority of between you and Zach.
The one you lost.
Yeah.
Well, look, no one can be perfect. All right, no one can be perfect. I admit that as perfect as I am, I'm not perfect. So.
And by the way, I won everything, but Kevin came in second. And Zach.
Yeah, Ryan set the new high score on the machine with like 90 something. So.
Yeah. Hey, are you finishing this out? Or are you good? Okay, then Kevin. You can close it out here.
All right, we're good. All right, we appreciate you guys checking in. All right, goodbye. Boom. Okay, well, now that's the end of Kevin and Zach React. We had a little impromptu Ryan Ripken / Zach Bollinger appearance. So hit the like and subscribe button on the way out here. See you right back here at the start of the National Series. Still haven't thought of my Oriole, I'm going to say, so I need to do that real quickly. And who's like an Oriole legend I can bring up here today? Zach kind of does it first, so it puts him on the spot. Now I'm on the spot. Kevin Gregg. That's who we got. See everybody later. Peace.